John Marshall is a key figure in the history of Native American law. He issued 3 decisions, 1823, 1831, and 32, the last 2 involving Cherokee Nation, that were really foundational for recognition of tribal sovereignty. Today was a terrific day. We held a symposium on John Marshall, the Supreme Court and the Trail of Tears, with a really wonderful group of speakers, a very attentive audience. This event actually was conceived about 1.5 years ago. Preservation Virginia owns and manages the John Marshall House, so they were interested in a Marshall connection.
As we put this together, we made the acquaintance of Lindsay Robertson, and he started to guide us through the people that needed to be part of this, and very quickly he directed us to Chief Hoskin. So we were thrilled that Chief Hoskin could be here for the event, talking about how the Cherokee Nation has endured and is thriving and is sustaining itself, and really, I think, is an inspiration to all of us.
Preservation Virginia brought some speakers together, including me, Professor Lindsay Robertson, Jack Baker, a number of others who talked about the significance of John Marshall. Of course, John Marshall being the Chief Justice during the 19th century, who set a lot of legal precedents for the nation, but for Cherokee Nation, it was the Cherokee cases, the 3 cases concluding with Worcester versus Georgia, which established a real bedrock principle in federal Indian law, which is that Indian nations, Cherokee Nation is a sovereign nation. It can exclude the laws of, in that case, the state of Georgia, and it's something we still rely on today as underpinnings for our sovereignty. It's
a bold decision. It was issued in the face of very strong opposition from the president, but he did it anyway. And for that reason, he's really viewed correctly, I think, as a hero in the history of tribal sovereignty. And the opinion that he issued in Worcester versus Georgia is still regularly cited in favor of, in cases involving tribal sovereign rights.
So it feels great to be in John Marshall's home, because you're really standing in a very historic place. So John Marshall lived here, raised his family here. You look around the home and you see the law books on the shelves, and you see his desk, and you see his robe that is upstairs that's the subject of a preservation effort. And you think about that he was here, and he was likely thinking about the Cherokee Nation, thinking about that the Cherokee Nation is a sovereign government, and how he could reconcile that with the rights of the states like Georgia, the rights of the United States, the relationship between the United States and the Cherokee Nation. It all happened here, or much of it happened here. And so to be here, I think, is very special.
Frankly, the historic event that happened today was having Chief Hoskin here, having Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation in John Marshall's house. It didn't happen during the John Ross administration. I'm sure Marshall would have loved to have had Chief Ross as his guest, and presumably Chief Ross would have loved to sat down with Marshall at his home and broken bread and discussed the issues of shared concern between them. And it's been a long time in coming, but I felt this way, and I think Chief Hoskin felt this way too. It was sort of a magical, very powerful, emotional moment. His being in this house. It sort of closed the circle on the relationship between John Marshall and the Supreme Court in the pre-Trail of Tears era and the Cherokee Nation today.